front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action. Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead on the record.
3x3 entering four.
Three at the flag stand, side by side. It's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Hello everybody, welcome into the NSRA Sunday Select Series live from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you being here. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers got the engines fired. We're back in the Xfinity Series here tonight. And let's head right down trackside and get started with your starting grid here tonight. On the pole, it's going to be Dawson Wise. Starting at his outside will be Cody Nagels. He takes the outside pole. Michael Triscaro, the rookie, and the man that got his first win of the season here last week. Of course, that was at Legacy Daytona. He will start from third. Dana Osborne, his outside, in fourth. Looking back to row number 3, it's going to be Sean Stevens and Les Levy. John Guerra will start 7th. He will have Donald Sadusky to his outside in 8th. Rounding out your top 10 tonight is going to be DJ Thomas and Robert Jordan, the sponsor of tonight's race. He's rounding out that 10th place position. Brian Kaufman will start from 11th. Daniel Holloway, good to see him back in the field tonight. He will start from the 12th spot. Daniel Jackson in 13th with Russ Hancock back in 14th. Rob Connors in 15th. Alex Giffen in 16th. It's going to be David Overstreet and Alex Green, one of the rookies, making up row number 9. Robert Morrison will start 19th, and it's going to be Bubba Winningham rounding out your top 20. Adam Kilday starts 21st. Joshua Gathright in 22nd. Reek Sebreen's in 23rd with Dusty Burkhart in 24th. Mark Mann starts from 25th. He's got Larry Dickerson to his outside in 26th. There's Ricky Wentworth Jr. He will start from 27th. Len McNeese 28th. And it's going to be Dean Viney, another one of the rookies rounding out the field tonight. He will start from 29th. As we get a couple audio issues sorted out. Looking at your starting race info here tonight. Track temp to start out the race going to be very toasty at 124 degrees. Of course, Talladega, 2.65 miles in length, one of the 2 super speedways that we head to throughout the entire season here for the NSRA Sunday Select, guys. 79 degrees, the weather outside, 5% humidity. Partly cloudy skies, winds at 2 miles an hour, not going to be too much of a factor. And we talked about it. It's the Bigfoot 212 here tonight, of course, sponsored by Robert Jordan himself. And as noted, we're back in the Xfinity Series, 80 laps as usual with 50% fuel. Everybody is going to have unlimited tires, 2 fast repairs, fixed setups, and then 2 green-white checkers if we were to need them. The biggest difference, though, tonight is going to be the fact that we have some new guys in the field. And again, I was trying to get all the rookies labeled properly pre-race, and we certainly got some more of them, but I think there's even more rookies than what it shows in the scoring tower. We'll have that all sorted out in the coming weeks, but I think the name of the game tonight is going to be everybody getting a feel for each other. Heard some of these guys talking to each other in pre-race, and different guys saying that, you know, let's try to work together here tonight, and the new guys have their own channel. Everybody just trying to work together. Of course, Limitless, while we don't have teams, is everybody knows who Limitless is. It's the same guys that usually like to work together when it comes to pit stops and on-track drafting action. But there might be a change tonight in who we see win this race. Could see a first-time winner. We saw it last week, of course, with the rookie, Michael Triscaro, who's going to be starting from 4th. Fuel window is going to be probably right around 20 laps here tonight. And I think everybody should make that window without having to save too aggressive. But we'll find out, because as they creep into the Geico restart zone, they go through the speeds into the gears for the first time tonight. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. And as they cross the line and complete lap 1, it is going to be Cody Nagels holding the lead. Did not take them long, though, to get 3 wide side by side, as we're seeing up front here. The 62 of Les Levy. And you know, one thing we didn't get to see in the warm-ups here that I'm quickly noticing is the fact that some of these paint schemes for these guys have not loaded yet, and that has to be something with trading paints. We got a lot of good-looking Dale Earnhardt paint schemes in the field tonight, and that is because Dale Earnhardt's last win came October 15th, 2000. All these guys celebrating it with the cool paint schemes that we're seeing here tonight. So we're going to reload up the trading paints, and we will have these paint schemes up in just a moment. But as they stay 3x3, you see on that outside line, it's Donald Sadusky. He's trying to make a lot of noise here early, looking for his first win of the season. And we haven't seen him make a start in every single one of these races. So each opportunity that he gets, he's going to be trying to take full advantage of it. Cody Nagels, though, getting a lot of help right now from that 8 car of Dana Osborne. Now they're going to drop to the bottom. That'll leave Robert Jordan all by himself in the middle. And as you see the paint schemes start loading in, I think the last guy that's going to load in is probably going to be Cody Nagels. And we're waiting for it because we've got to show it off. He's going to have the leading number 3 car here tonight. And as he continues to set it up, though, that third lane is trying to get set up itself. Cody riding around the bottom. Again, in the Xfinity cars, you can get away a little bit more with riding around the bottom a little bit longer than you can in the trucks, of course. But you're still going to have to work both lines eventually if you want to keep temps even. If not, it's going to come down to a battle of which lead pusher, depending on which lane you're in, can do a better job of saving their temps and therefore have something to work with by the end of the race. Coming across the line now to complete lap number 4. You see Daniel Holloway, the lead pusher, was the lead pusher. Now Dana Osborne's going to get clear, and there it is. The 3 car has loaded in tonight. Cody Nagels. We got a lot of schemes. We'll go through them as the race goes on, but, I mean, obviously the one that was leading the field is probably the most iconic one. The gear wrench number 3 car, trying to see if he's got anything special on it. Besides it, he's just going to keep it basic and keep it nice. And he's hoping to keep that car clean all night. Cody as well, rocking the driver cams tonight. And he's wearing the hat, one of his dad's favorite hats from what we heard. Kevin Nagels, if you're watching tonight, I believe we heard it was your birthday either here tonight or recently. Wishing you a happy birthday. Cody looking to see if he can get one of his multiple wins here that he's already got on the season. See if he can add to that list here tonight. And we're 4 wide now. Back further in the pack. Looks like that was Robert Jordan that they're going to try to split right here. A little bit dicey to be trying early, and they're quickly going to fade now back to 3 wide with a lot of separation in between each car. On the top line a little bit further back, you see the 66, the 99 rather, of Alex Giffen. Running a little bit of a different look here tonight. And looking for the rookie Alex Green in the field. We know he likes to be aggressive, but right now he's hanging back just a little bit as he rides next to John Guerra in the 88, who we saw push Michael Triscaro to the win last week. John felt pretty good about the way his race finished up, but he's still looking for that first win. And as we're going to be approaching lap number 6 this next time by, still no signs of anybody really wanting to single file out. We've stayed double file, and we've seen that third lane continue to form. But what I will say is everybody looks like they're handling pretty well off the start of the race. I mean, we're seeing a little bit of dicing around, but that's what you expect with these Xfinity cars. And as we go back a couple rows, Dawson-wise, the next guy here to take a look at in terms of paint schemes. Got a good-looking 98 machine here tonight. The Budweiser car. And that third lane going to get rolling here. Looks like that might be 2 teammates. Daniel Holloway has a car that looks almost identical just behind. Excuse me, not Daniel Holloway. That's actually going to be Donald Sadusky. Looking for who it is. No, Donald Sadusky currently on the inside in second. That's actually the 21 machine of, yeah, that is Daniel Holloway. So these guys are getting me all mixed up here tonight, seeing a bunch of different paint schemes. Not what we're used to seeing. But again, Holloway's last start that we saw here in the NSRA Sunday Select Series was last season in the final championship race, which of course he was a part of the Final 4. And after an unfortunate sequence of events on the last laps, he wrecked out, didn't go home with the hardware. And he is certainly going to be trying to look to see if he can get the win here tonight. And as Holloway works that outside, Alex Giffen is the man in the same scheme as him, trying to give him a push. And there's the other Alex Green. He is also on the top of 3 wide. They're starting to single file out a little bit towards the back of the pack. And I think that's probably just the guys that are playing it conservative right now, don't want to get caught up in any sort of mess early. As anytime you're 3 wide, it only takes a little bit of a mistake, but everybody's giving each other a lot of room. We're seeing a lot of pushing down the straights, but not so much through the corners. So while they are 3 wide, it looks like a kind of a natural feel to the 3 wide. Everybody looks like they're finding a rhythm early. And as Dana Osborne continues to roll the bottom, holding quite a bit of momentum. In fact, actually is going to get the lead, actually lose the lead just before the start-finish line. But up top, if they get clear, you got to think that Daniel Holloway is going to probably drop down to the middle and see if he can maybe hold back the three of Cody Nagels, who has a teammate lined up behind him. As we take a look at the track map and spin up down a lap or two, Ricky Wentworth, one of the new guys in the field tonight. Not sure what's going on, but maybe a little bit of issues. He may have missed the start, and he currently finds himself in that last position and potentially in danger of going a lap down here before we even make to the first pit sequence. He is probably rooting for these guys to wreck and bring out a caution so that he can get back up to the field and not have to worry about losing a lap early on. But now the third lane is going to start to die out. I think Alex Giffen may have started to finally run out of temps. And with nothing left to push Daniel Holloway, they're going to have to fade at least until he can cool that car down a little bit. The 0-1 of Brian Kaufman, another new driver in the field tonight, doing a great job early. He is rocking a similar Goodwrench paint scheme to what we see for Cody Nagels. A little bit of a different look, though, and it looks like he kind of put his own twist into it. And he is currently sitting third in the middle, trying to get up here and put in some work with the big dogs. We're used to seeing up front just about every week. And as you go further towards the back of this pack, we talked about the single file action, but it's Larry Dickerson right now. There's currently the last car in this lead pack, Glenn McNeese. Dean Viney just in front of him. There's Mark Mann. We know Mark likes to play this strategy, and it seems like it works out for Mark. I would say probably about 9 out of 10 races that he tries it on. He knows how to get to the front, and we see him at the end of just about every race. The only thing that I certainly worry about whenever you try to play these strategies of riding in the back and missing that big wreck is getting to the front late is certainly doable, but it's so hard, and there's so many opportunities to get yourself caught up in someone else's mess. I would just rather be leading in the last 5 laps than trying to go for the lead. And there's Rob Connors in the 00 here tonight. Just behind him, Rick Sebreens. Haven't saw Rick in a little while. Good to see him here tonight. And back up front, Cody Nagels has now made his way to the bottom, open it up to his teammate Dawson Wise in the middle. You got to wonder if it was the same deal there for Donald Sadusky in terms of maybe just got a little bit too hot, had to cool down, backed off a little bit. And two of the Limitless guys took full advantage of it. Dawson pushed Cody right out to the lead, and Cody said, all right, I'll let you cool off. Dropped down to the bottom, but it's kept them side by side. And that third line continues to roll. That hot track temp should allow the middle and the top to be a more dominant lane, you would certainly expect. But I think we're going to need to see someone else jump up in that third lane eventually here, as the 99 is going to make another run at it here, giving a big push to Daniel Holloway as they're going to race their way now off of turn number 2. And slowly but surely close it in on that lap car of Ricky Wentworth. And we'll see. Ricky should be able to tag on to the back of this pack with no issues and continue on his way. But looking for Michael Triscaro, the man that got his first win, of course, last week. And it was a great last lap for him. On the bottom, car below him got a little bit loose. I believe it was Len McNeese. I was trying to remember exactly who it was. And just wasn't quite able to hold on. Michael Triscaro on the outside was able to drive right on through, keep going, and got the win. And speaking of Michael Triscaro, he's one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And he's running right in the middle of this Hornet's Nest as we ride on board with the number 34 machine. And he's got another Goodwrench paint scheme just as Alex Giffen does in front of him. And he's going to jump to the middle now behind Alex Green. They're going to get a run up as Robert Jordan actually had jumped to the high side. Didn't notice that there for a minute. We were taking a look at Michael's onboard cam. But how about where did number 74 come from? And it seems like throughout the season, the guys, whenever they sponsor their own race, they feel a little bit more like they got to represent. That's exactly what Robert Jordan's trying to do already here tonight in the 74 machine. But he's starting to lose some help as now he only has Daniel Holloway on his back bumper. Alex Giffen has jumped in line, and I think Daniel's probably going to do the same once he gets a little bit of a gap right here. So your top 5 as they run right now, Dawson Wise is leading as he was able to jump to the bottom. Cody Nagels in second. Brian Kaufman in third, leading that outside line. Dana Osborne in fourth. And Adam Kilday now moving up to the top 5 in that 85 car. He continues to give a big push through the middle. Alex Green sees a run coming up top. We'll see if he decides to take it. Michael Triscaro is the man looking through wide, trying to help out Robert Jordan and see if he can make himself some forward momentum in the process. And they're going to get the two teammates, actually no, one of the teammates, it's going to be the 99 of Alex Giffen. I thought Holloway would go out as well there, but instead it's going to be the 72. Jumps out trying to propel that lane forward. And Robert Jordan and Michael Triscaro are going to have to sit behind him, but still going to make progress towards the front. Looks like they're going to just choose to drop back in line. Going to be coming to cross lap 14 right here. That means pit stops going to be expected in right about 7 laps from now, give or take a lap. I think the strategy is break it into coming on, I would say to play it safe, maybe go lap 20 to 21. So coming on the end of lap number 20, and if that was the case, these guys would have to go 7 more laps around this giant super speedway. And we'll see if we see a little bit of a separation in terms of different groups pitting, or if they all pit at the same time. What I think we will see, though, is a lot of guys fall off the pack after this first pit stop. Seems like that's kind of the trend every time when we have green flag pit stops, especially with a pack of this size. They're really going to have to start getting organized, though, and single filing out. And I would say probably sometime, maybe able to go 2 or 3 more laps, but coming to 2 laps to go before pit stops, you got to start thinking about how you're going to get to the bottom, as Cody Nagels back to the lead on the bottom over Dawson Wise, and was controlling the lanes there just a little bit as he stayed high, but as soon as he got clear, you can tell he wanted low. Only problem for him now is Brian Kaufman is also going to get clear. He'll drop low. The 85 of Adam Kilday almost got a little bit of tunnel vision. That could have ended bad. The 85, though, moves his way back up, and he's waiting to receive a push from Alex Green. On the top, it's still Daniel Holloway getting a big push from Daniel Jackson. Daniel Jackson, another one of the new drivers in here tonight, but doing a good job early. And you really wouldn't be able to tell that it was rookies in here tonight in terms of the new guys that we got. They are doing a phenomenal job of running up here with the usuals, the regulars, if you will. But Cody Nagels still trying to feel like he's in charge. Now Alex Green's going to go for the split. Will he get any takers here? Looks like Michael Triscaro maybe thought about it, but he's quickly going to bail out of the throttle, as that may have been an uncoordinated move, because it looks like, I believe that's Daniel Holloway. Yep, sure enough, in the 21 just behind him. Checked up, cut him some slack there, allowed him to get back in line. He certainly had the opportunity to make that a really awkward situation. Off of 2, the one car with the best view in the house right now, Brian Kaufman. These are his first laps led for the NSRA Sunday Select Series, at least this season. His driver out of Oakboro, North Carolina. Again, unless he was here sometime last season before I started picking up the broadcast, then this would be his first race. Again, doing a great job so far as we go further back in this pack on the inside. Here's a ride with Sean Stevens in the 27 car. And he's going to pull up alongside the 99 now of Alex Giffen, who sees Daniel Holloway drop down just in front of him. And that 62 machine of Les Levy, leaving just a little bit of a gap now between himself and Donald Sadusky. And Les is okay to get away with that, but if you're Donald, or in this case, in that middle line now, Daniel Holloway, you got to stay nice and tucked up to that car in front of you, because you really need 3 to make it work. And the third car just kind of acting as that aero cushion, so that if the guy falls off the bumper, he's able to get there. Now, though, we're going to see the field start to single file out here. Saw a couple guys drop in right off of turn number 2, and as we go down the back straightaway, it's still 3 wide in the first 2 rows. But behind that, everybody looks like they're starting to organize out. And Michael Triscaro still not able to get to the inside just yet as he continues to push Alex Green. We'll see if Dawson Wise and Adam Kilday decide to drop to the bottom behind these two, and maybe see if they can either push them to the front and try to drop down, or just fall back until they find a spot in line. But as we cross the line now, 18 laps complete. Towards the back, a little bit more double file action there with the 72. The other Daniel in the field here tonight up front. Ooh, man, that was really close. Almost some contact right there between Dawson Wise and Alex Green. Both of them able to save it and get back in their respective lanes. That could have ended really, really bad. Very, very close call. We talked about Ricky Wentworth still in the back of the field, but we talked, well, actually back of the pack, I should say right now. Also back of the field, and he's just waiting to see if we can get a caution and hope that he gets the lucky dog. I think he still needs to play this strategy, though, just as if he were up here on the lead lap. Make sure that you pit with these leaders, take the same things, and you got to get a good stop. That way, if you come out with them, you'll still be in that same position and hopefully still be in the lucky dog position. But Ricky, as he is one of our rookies in here tonight, one of the new guys, he's carrying an onboard camera for us, and one of our VR drivers. Certainly appreciate Ricky. And the last man with an onboard here for us tonight is going to be Dawson Wise. As you see the side-by-side comparison, Dawson's got himself oriented sideways. And I figured we had to poke a little bit of fun. Dawson usually up here in the booth with us on Tuesdays and a couple other days, depending on what event it is. You will get to see Dawson back this Tuesday in the booth for Tuesday Night Thunder over at RMR Money Racing. So as Cody Nagels continues to lead, it's the 0-1 of Brian Kaufman in second, Dana Osborne third, Donald Sadusky in fourth, Daniel Holloway in fifth. The 3 wide has faded out, and The second lane in general faded. Oh, we got some contact on the track. 2 cars around. This is going to bring out the yellow as Dawson Wise slides, and we have got calamity on the entry to the pits. It is a parking lot. Pit stops, we talk about them all the time, how there's such a tough thing at super speedways. And there is a lot of damage from multiple different cars. Sean Stevens, couldn't tell if that was the front bumper for potentially Donald Sadusky that was heavily ripped off. I don't think it was, but it was somebody else. As Rick Sebring works his way out of the pits. It brings out your first caution here of the night, right as it was time for these green flag pit stops. And let's go take a look, break down for you. Watch the 98 of Dawson Wise along with the 27 of Sean Stevens. This is where this wreck's actually going to start. You can see that is that bright red 8 Budweiser car, 98 Budweiser car rather, at the right side of your screen. We'll see if we can get zoomed in on them just a little bit more. And there we go. And coming off of 4, Dawson wants to pit so he can try to get in with his teammates, and ooh, just not clear. Sean Stevens down there. I don't think Sean had a plan of pitting right here. And so when Dawson comes down, he gets into the 27 of Stevens. That sends Stevens up, and then this is where everybody else gets collected. They all funnel down to the inside wall, and I mean, the amount of smoke tells you that everybody was caught by surprise, and that one is a lot of lockups. And let's actually play it slower here and try to break this down. So show you that angle one more time here. Coming off the turn, Dawson's trying to get down. Maybe he was thinking Sean Stevens was going to go, but he just wasn't. So once Steven gets turned, that sends him up into Len McNeese. And as they start coming back down the track here, this is where everybody's just going to have nowhere to go. Mark Mann pile drives in along with the 72. And then looks like the 4 of Rick Sebring, he's going to get a little damage as he was coming in hot. Alex Green, hard on the brakes. Donald Sadusky also locking it up. And then further back, looks like the 343 car gets into DJ Thomas. Alex Giffen was locking it up here as well. And eventually, I'm going to come to a sliding halt. But that may have been the biggest pit road incident that we have seen all season. We see a couple miscues here and there. But, I mean, for it to bring out the caution, you knew it had to be a pretty serious incident, which it certainly was right there, as that one collected probably about 7 to 10 cars. And as we go back live and up front, it is Dana Osborne leading the way. Brian Kaufman second. Donald Sadusky third. Michael Triscaro in fourth. Les Levy in fifth with Daniel Holloway sixth. DJ Thomas seventh. Bubba Winningham now up inside your top 10. He's up 11 from where he started in 8th. Rob Connors 9th. And Dusty Burkhart currently rounding out your top 10. And actually, I want to take one more view of this last wreck from TV Follow. I feel like this always gives us a pretty good angle of it. And there you go. There's the initial contact that sends it back down. Watch this hit on the inside wall for all these guys. Just a cluster and pretty hard hit. Adam Kilday, one of the ones involved in that. And then the 99 has to park it. Looks like so does the 66. Everybody just trying to make sure that they can minimize the damage at this point. The caution flew pretty quick, though, which is what you like to see, because if not, that could have caused more chaos with people still trying to speed around other guys, and we might have had some more contact and more damage than what we certainly ended up with. All right, so with 21 laps completed, it's been a fun one so far. We are going to take our first break of the night, but we will stick side by side so you don't miss a thing. We'll be right back at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the Bigfoot 212, getting ready for the first restart here of the night. Les Levy and Rob Connors going to take the green flag. And there it is. It's a pretty good start for the inside rows. Looked like on the outside, the 8 maybe got just a little bit of wheel spin right there. That was Rob Connors. Dusty Burkhart trying to get to the back bumper now of Les Levy, but on the outside, already Joshua Gathright, well, he linked up with the 8 for just a moment, actually faded off. Not sure what happened there. But I was going to say, the quicker these guys get locked up, the more progress they're going to make. A little bit of an interesting tidbit here in the sense of, in real life, in the Xfinity cars, guys cannot lock bumpers. But they actually hold pretty well here down the straightaways as long as you got a guy squared up. It's the corners where things start to get dicey, and we have certainly seen a lot of incidents over the season so far happen when guys have tried pushing throughout the corners. And up top, looks like we're already going to have a couple people thinking about taking that third lane. DJ Thomas thinking about jumping up. It's going to be Daniel Holloway, though, that's the first one to go up there. He's going to get a little bit of a push right here. I'm not sure how much progress he's going to be able to make, though. And running just behind Daniel Holloway, that's going to be the 68 machine of David Overstreet. Another guy running a throwback here tonight and looking for his first win on the season. And they're going to get some more help now as make it 1, 2, 3 more cars going to jump up. Michael Triscaro, though, will head back down to the bottom. Donald Tedeschi and Dana Osborne going to be the next 2 to get up here and try to fight their way to the front. Daniel Jackson in the 72. He is now leading the third lane, and within the span of about a lap and a half, we are back to 3x3 for over 5 rows. DJ Thomas just trying to hold a steady wheel in the middle. Up front, the 8 looking really wobbly. Remember, that's one of the rookies in the field tonight, Rob Connors. And as he tries to get a feel for it, the first time leading can be a little intimidating, especially when you have to do it in front of a 3-wide pack of almost 30 cars. But Rob's going to have to hold a steady wheel here. You want to have friends for late in the race, and the steadier of a wheel you can do, the harder a guy can push you, the more he's going to be willing to push you later in the race versus somebody else. But the middle really rolling right here. Rob's going to get clear. The bottom, he's not going to take it. Gets up into the 72. Does Daniel save it? Looks like he does. That was a magnificent save from Daniel Jackson after a little bit of a slip-up right there from Rob Connors, and I thought that was getting ready to clean out the entire field. Nice heads-up driving for both Daniels, actually, as Daniel Holloway also checked up and gave him a little bit of breathing room. David Overstreet sees that. You know, he's got to be feeling a little bit stressed right now in that 68 car, hoping that that third line can get some guys clear to drop down. He wants to be closer to the front or probably out of the mess, but right now he's trapped right in the middle just as John Guerra is, and so is the 71 now, who we see making his way to the front. Dean Viney, one of the rookies. That caution, by the way, did allow Ricky Wentworth to catch the pack, and since he was able to do so, he is now sticking with them very nicely, running the top line. And he is another one of the Dale throwback paint schemes. Looks like he's got a red and white Goodwrench paint scheme here tonight. Another good-looking car. And up front, I got to be honest, I know I'm jinxing it here, but I don't know how these guys have not had a wreck on the track yet here tonight. I mean, the racing itself has been beyond aggressive, as we're going to see Overstreet jump to the middle. Daniel Holloway is going to throw just a little bit of a block to try to stall the momentum out for that middle lane. He does so, and that's going to allow him now to jump all the way down to the bottom in front of Daniel Jackson. Holloway wants more, though. Jackson wants more as he's going to jump back up to the top. Daniel versus Daniel on the bottom in the middle line. Up top, Donald Sadusky and the rookie Michael Triscaro trying to push clear, and it almost seems like the handling for at least some of these guys is getting worse, and while that may not actually be the case, as track temp is actually just slightly cooled by a degree, I think it's just the aggression level overall is picking up. I mean, that first run, we saw them 3 wide, but giving each other max amount of space and kind of slow with how they developed the 3 wide here. Just after the first lap, they were back to 3x3 for over 5 rows. And, I mean, look at the pushing on the outside. Donald Sadusky was fishtailing back and forth as Michael Triscaro pushed him all out of whack, but it was enough of a push to get him clear. And so eventually Sadusky will now shuffle to the bottom. And Michael Triscaro and DJ Thomas, 2 of the rookies, both with a win this season. DJ's, of course, came at the opener at Daytona. Michael's came at Daytona, but it was Legacy Daytona last week. And we are coming to complete lap number 28 from when we went back green. You'd have to expect the next pit stop. This is going to actually throw us off cycle a little bit. You would normally say that the next pit stop would be probably somewhere right around lap 40. And it actually, I think it probably will be potentially around lap 40 again. Based off when these guys went green, it's not going to necessarily take away a pit stop. I think it's just going to take away the amount of fuel that they have to take on one of their stops. So I look to see maybe some of the drivers such as Cody Nagels here, Robert Jordan, Dawson Wise, even Michael Triscaro, as soon as the window opens up for them to try some strategy here, which again I would assume would be right at lap 40, they may try to go in and lead the rest of the pack. We've seen when they've tried that strategy before, it's worked out very well. Didn't work out last week, unfortunately. They had a lot of miscues between pit road, getting on and off pit road, and then losing teammates throughout the different green flag runs. But when we saw it in the Xfinity, I guess you'd call it Xfinity stint before we went to the trucks for 4 weeks, it seemed like they were doing pretty good with the strategy when we had it. In the 20, though, up top, DJ Thomas now leading. And speaking of Cody Nagels and Dawson Wise, there they are on the back bumper of DJ. Just behind them, Adam Kilday trying to work his way back up after being involved in that first incident that brought out the caution down by the pits. As we take a different angle here, let's ride on the left front for a little bit further back. Actually, we'll do the left rear. And this is for DJ Thomas. You can see just how close these guys are running. You see as DJ bobbles the wheel, they probably get within inches of each other every once in a while. And that's where you sometimes worry about potentially seeing maybe a little bit of net code as well. But so far tonight, racing's been really good. It hasn't been any net code. And again, the only incident that we saw was pertaining to the green flag pit stop cycling. But out on track, it's been clean. It's been fun. It's been very, very aggressive. Oh, and just as I say that, we're going to get one around. Daniel Holloway, does he save it? Yellow flag comes out as it looks like somehow, some way, the 21 was the only one involved. And I don't know if you've ever heard me say that one before, is back up front. Yeah, the rest of the field was all able to dodge it. This will bring out your second caution here of the night. Let's go back and take a look. Daniel Holloway, again, the only one that actually ended up getting involved in this incident. Now, he was up here with a great run. We'll back that up a little bit further for you. Was currently sitting third. Actually, he was going to fall back to fourth on the inside line. Is it going to start here potentially with a pretty big checkup? Yeah, it looks like it is. Watch the inside line. And you see, oh, not quite clear there for the man pushing in the middle. I was trying to figure out exactly who that was. Could not tell from that view. We'll take a look from a different angle in a moment. But there you see it causes a little bit of a stack up as the inside, of course, rightly so, gets a little nervous. And that's actually going to be the 68, David Overstreet. Again, running different paint schemes here tonight. Used to seeing David in a bright yellow or pink car or truck. But here you go. So watch Holloway. Third car now on the inside. Make it fourth, I guess, if you will, if the 34 is coming down. And it wasn't really so much the checkup from the bottom that caused the issue for Holloway, but up top, the 2 Budweiser cars, Dawson Wise and the 8 of Rob Connors. Let's see, does Rob come up or does Dawson come down? And it looks like maybe just a little bit of both. It's hard to say if they actually ever touched each other. Could have been a little bit of net code, if not, certainly just slight contact. And here's another view from the TV follow. This caution did come out pretty quick. And yet again, you like to see the quick trigger for the cautions tonight because they usually prevent incidents. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of net code between these two. And that sends the 8 down into Daniel Holloway. That sends him onto the apron. And I mean, this right here is almost unheard of. At this point, you're expecting him to slide right back up the track and take out the rest of the field. But he's somehow able to keep it down for the most part, locks it up, and actually never brings that car fully back up on track. Gets on the apron and the banked part of the apron, but never does come fully back up. So again, a really, really nice job there for Daniel Holloway. Let's take a couple different views. First one from the wall cam. And next, we'll take a ride on board with Holloway, as he was not expecting this one. But watch the work he does behind the wheel. And you hear him get turned. And just lets it kind of slide. And then lets it spin around. Doesn't get too committed on slamming on the brakes immediately as he starts to get spun. Stays in the throttle just that little bit longer, and it helps keep that car down on the bottom. Final view here from TV4. So as Holloway spins and slides, and it brings out your second caution of the night, we are expecting some more pit stops. Looking to see how this would potentially change strategy up. And if they go green here with what looks like going to be on lap 34, assuming that they get to 1 to go next time they cross the line, then it looks like that would put them still, it's going to be close, because then they'd be able to go to 54 and then 74. Yeah, I think they're still going to be a little bit short unless they find a way to run maybe 22 and 23 laps. But I don't think anybody's going to have that much fuel, and even if you try to save it, I think you're going to lose too much position and time. So I think there still will be some strategy, but now it makes it almost even more interesting on not really eliminating a pit stop, but now it's going to be that much less gas that you have to take on one of them. So if you're Michael Triscaro or any of the guys that Cody really has been working with here tonight, or that have worked with Cody, Dawson, you know that Cody's maybe scheming up a little bit of a strategy right here to pit, and I don't know, I would say maybe 8 laps or so. If he pits on lap 40, again, that'll put him in that window. And if they do that, we'll see how the rest of the field responds. There's usually that split strategy of some guys decide to stay out, run it till it's empty, and see if they can make up time. And then the group that pit, of course, a little bit less people. And usually they have some chemistry, as it's usually all teammates together. And then they can make up time themselves as well. But as we get ready to get the 1 to go signal here, let's go see if we can find Cody Nagels for a quick word, and make sure we pull him up here on the interview booth. He's got a cool looking hat here tonight. And of course carrying a driver cam. Hey Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? All right, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we get you unmuted there. Well, I'll tell you what, you got a good-looking car tonight. You got the hat to match it. And so far, you're looking pretty fast here tonight. How you feeling so far?
Feeling pretty good, man. I don't know. My eyes definitely weren't dry when we started the race. I've always wanted to run the number 3 because I was around, granted I was young, but I was around on October 15th, 2000, and it also just so happens to be my dad's birthday. And that was an awesome celebration back in 2000. I think I was like 6 years old. Like I was a youngin'. So I don't know. It's just a special day for me for a lot of reasons, and this is one of them. And hopefully I can get this car in victory lane.
All right. Well, speaking about how you're going to get that car into victory lane here tonight, we see quite a flood of new guys in the field tonight. And so far, how have you felt like that's kind of affected the pace of the race?
I really don't think it's changed anything. Davo's done a really good job recruiting and bringing in guys that share the same goal with the league that we do, and it seems pretty seamless. You know, a lot of times you bring a car in mid-season, and sometimes the chemistry ain't there. But these new guys, they're showing what they got right now, and it's gonna have to make the rest of us step up our game a little bit.
All right, well, coming out of turn 4, and I see that you're getting ready to take the green flag. So we appreciate you chatting with us, and we'll see if you can get that number 3 car in victory lane here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and that's Cody Nagels. We'll slide him back down to his teammates here. Again, expecting some strategy, which actually is probably the one thing I meant to still ask him about. But we'll find out one way or another. Up front, Michael Triscaro and Donald Sadusky going to lead us back to green. Les Levy, and there he is, Cody Nagels, going to be making up row number 2. Dawson Wise in 5th with Dana Osborne in 6th. As we approach the Geico restart zone. 34 laps completed at Talladega. Green flag is back in the air. Good jump for Michael Triscaro. Maybe just a little bit too big of a jump. He's going to be waiting for help right here from the 62 machine. Unless Levy not going to get there just yet. He's going to need about a quarter of a lap to really get up to speed. Finally going to be able to get there right out of turn number 2. But now on the outside we see Donald Sadusky and Cody Nagels with a big run. Cody going to push the 19 for all he's worth. Sadusky's going to get clear. Cody almost follows, but he's able to quickly tuck back up. And now he's going to get a push from Dana Osborne. Side by side further back, there's Dawson Wise on the inside of David Overstreet. Overstreet, we saw him get a little bit aggressive last time, trying to make moves to get to the front. We'll see if he chooses to take it 3 wide. Got to wonder if he get help from Bubba Winningham. I certainly would think that 66 would go with the 68. And then Brian Kaufman, he might be another one to think about going 3 wide here sooner or later. Robert Jordan, I think he's content where he's at, assuming that he can get to the bottom. And watch for certain guys here. Right now, what I'm looking at is I see DJ Thomas on the bottom. I see Michael Triscaro on the bottom, Dawson Wise. And if Cody jumps to the bottom pretty quickly here, then that makes me think that they may have some plans to try to throw a wrench in the strategy of this race and pit on lap 40 as soon as that window would open up. But on the outside, now we're going to see a run from the 72 of Daniel Jackson. Alex Green choosing to try to help him out. As you go further back, still a lot of 2x2 action. And a couple guys that have single filed out towards the back. And in fact, actually, we got a little separation here at the end of the pack. Larry Dickerson is just hanging on to the draft off of Ricky Wentworth, who's just hanging on to the draft of Robert Morrison and Sean Stevens. And these two trying to catch up to the back bumper of Adam Kilday and Alex Giffen here. So they're still 3 wide. You see Green and Jackson still trying to make their way to the front with that third lane, but they just don't really have any help. You're gonna, oh, we got a big wreck out back. This is gonna bring the caution out for sure, as now Green's gonna spin. And there it is. Alex Green slides down the banking, but it's further back where we have more chaos now. Jordan finally coming back down the banking after that car got absolutely destroyed. And it looks like the 89 of Joshua Gathright also involved. And what has gone wrong here? Brings out the third caution of the night here on lap 36. Man, oh man. Backing it up. That's Joshua Gathright. Looks like took a peek to the outside. Yeah, he does. And, ooh, just comes down and clips Robert Jordan here. I don't think it was anything intentional, but yeah, you see the 89. Certainly just slightly comes down. You got to wonder if maybe Robert Jordan came up at all, but doesn't really look like it. Looks like Jordan held his line pretty good. And then once Josh just comes down, he might have been trying to get a side draft. It does not take much. There may have actually been a slight bit of right rear net code there. I take it back. But wow, what a hit for both of those cars. Destroys the front end of Robert Jordan and the front end of Joshua Gathright. And then Alex Green, a little bit of a secondary part of this incident. We'll take a look at that before we go any further. As it looks like it's showing that Mark Mann was involved, but I think that might have just been him going through the grass to try to miss all of this. Which, yeah, he does. And then when they slide back down, there's the heavy contact for Alex Green that's going to ultimately rip off the back bumper of that 15 car. Taking a couple different views. Watch the contact here. Again, we talked about it does not take much in these Xfinity cars. And in this case, you're going to see right here just gets really close. Don't think they quite made contact, though. But it sends the 74 and the 89 hard into the outside wall. Robert Jordan here, I think he had some sort of broken suspension. Yeah, you see the car bouncing all around, and cars just traveling down track. And yeah, that's unfortunate for a couple guys that were involved in that after they missed the initial part of the wreck. As here's a look from the onboard cam for Jordan. Watch this hit, and then watch his suspension here as he tries to save it. Man, up in the air. Lucky that car didn't get upside down, so he was at least able to tow it quicker. And yeah, you hear it flopping around, and actually right here, looks like he's holding his steering wheel straight. But as he comes down, yeah, still no movement from the steering wheel. May have had to take his hands off at that point. So we take one more look here from the wall cam. All right, so as we go back live, again, everybody going to top off on fuel. You might as well, because it continues to get closer and closer to now shortening this what was, again, initially expected to be a green flag run by a full pit stop, as they have now completed about 20 laps since their first pit stop. And so everybody that tops off here, and you know, honestly, it may not be a bad idea to go down and fill it up right here, especially if you're anywhere about halfway through the field or back. Because when we go green, it's going to be exactly on lap 40. And that'll put us at 41 laps to go. If you can make 20 and 21 laps for a fuel run, then you will only have to make one more stop from there. But Donald Sadusky lining up with the lead. Dana Osborne in second. David Overstreet in third. It's going to be Les Levy back and fourth. Brian Kaufman in 5th. Russ Hancock in 6th with John Guerra in 7th. Cody Nagels back in 8th. Michael Triscaro 9th. And Dawson Wise currently rounding out your top 10. Been talking about the weather a little bit throughout the race. It looks like track temp has cooled off a couple degrees more now at 121, but still scorching hot and giving these guys some troubles. As these Xfinity cars, each lap that goes by as they wear out on tires, they do not handle as good as you would expect a car to at a super speedway. As we head over now and talk about the standings just a little bit. Coming into tonight's race, Cody Nagels with the lead of points with Vicente Guerrero in 2nd. However, he's not here tonight, so there's a chance that maybe that changes up a little bit. David Overstreet sits 3rd currently, and it's going to be Sean Stevens back in 4th. Michael Triscaro, the rookie, after getting his first win, is going to round out the top 5. Bubba Winningham 6th, Len McNeese 7th, DJ Thomas in 8th, Alex Giffen in 9th, and it looks like it's Les Levy rounding out the top 10. And this is all the battle for the first top 16 guys, rather, for that first playoff round. Still got a little bit of a ways to go before we're at the All-Star break and then, of course, the playoffs. But you never know how many points it could come down to. So whenever you have an opportunity to grab points, you got to take advantage and get them where you can. And there's no stages either, obviously, in the NSRA Sunday Select Series. So the best places to make them up is just going to be trying to lead the entire race and, of course, get the win at the end. That's certainly a lot easier said than done. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in here tonight. A little bit of a longer one here. 80 laps at Talladega. The Talladega race is always about 12 miles longer than Daytona, as, of course, it's 0.15 miles in total length longer. But again, wishing a happy birthday to Kevin Engels if you're out here watching tonight. And everybody else, wishing you a happy Sunday. It's the NSRA Sunday Select Series. I believe it's going to head to Daytona next week, but it will, I think it's still in the Xfinity cars. I don't remember, actually. It may alternate back to trucks. Either way, from what we saw so far, we saw a round of each. We saw these guys head to all the tracks on the schedule in the Xfinity Series and then all the tracks on the schedule in the Truck Series. And I think, to be honest, that I think the Xfinity Series has provided better racing. Now, I think guys have the opportunity to be more aggressive if they're in the trucks. But in the Xfinity Series, it matches it like no others in the sense of you can really, really do a lot of pushing down the straightaways and make progress. Sometimes in the truck, doesn't really matter what lane you're in, it can become a stalemate. But we haven't seen too much of that here tonight. Again, could be some of the hot track temp guys are getting temps too hot real quick. And that plays a little bit of the mind games. But we'll see what can David Overstreet do here as he's going to try to push Donald Sadusky to see if Donald will maybe jump up. And on the outside, if you're the 62 here of Les Levy, can you find a way to push that 8 car of Dana Osborne? We are about to find out. Pace truck pulls off. Back into the restart zone we go. Green flag is back in the air. 40 laps completed. And we are just now at halfway through the Bigfoot 212. Another really good start for the inside line. But you can see this time it's not just for Donald Sadusky. David Overstreet got the memo, was able to get lined up on his bumper basically right off the start. And that's going to help him here as this outside line is gearing up for a really big run. They might have a chance to stall him out. As we take a look from the TV follow, watch for the 62. Looked like he tried to get a little bit of a side draft off of David Overstreet. Now he's just trying to make it to the back bumper. Overstreet, though, is going to win the battle of who can get to the bumper first. And I think that's going to be just enough. It's going to be really close here for Dana Osborne, who actually does get clear and chooses to drop to the bottom. So Sadusky will have to shuffle back a spot, and Les Levy is going to reclaim the lead on that outside line with a push now from Russ Hancock and Rob Connors. And it looks like Cody Nagels has fallen back a little bit. So has Michael Triscaro. And I still think maybe there's some strategy involved. I mean, we didn't see any pit stops that lap, which I was kind of expecting, but I guess decided better of it. And so we'll see if we see him either this lap or next lap. But if we don't, then I think you have to say that fairly implies that these guys certainly aren't trying any crazy out of the book strategies, and they're going to try the one that works. Still going down the back straightaway into turn 3 at about 195 miles an hour. Speeds have not dropped off that much since the start of the race. The 84, though, of Len McNeese up top now with Daniel Holloway. They're trying to find a way to get the momentum going on that third lane. Looks like they're going to get another taker to jump out of line here. And looking for exactly who that is. That's going to be actually the other teammate to Daniel Holloway, Alex Giffen in the 99. And while they're 3 wide, you can see there's just a pretty big gap behind the 2 cars they're trying to pass and in front of those 2 cars. And the problem when you get that is that those 2 in the middle, they're just going to pull a draft off the guys in the middle. And as soon as you think you're going to have a chance at a pass, your run starts to stall as theirs prevails. And with 42 laps complete, looks like Joshua Gathright and Robert Jordan currently not on the lead lap. Both guys are 2 laps down, so they would be fighting for the lucky dog. And if we get a caution, then whichever one earns that lucky dog will get 1 lap back. As we take a ride on board here with Russ Hancock in the 343 car. Oh, that was a close call right there. He had to bail out of the throttle for the 62 machine of Les Levy. And Les going to try to hold a steady line here. It's so hard to do, though, when you get pushed through the trial, and that's where you got to kind of outweigh the risk versus rewards, right? I mean, I know late in the race, all bets are off, and you got to push everywhere around the track that you can. But you see here, Donald Sadusky playing it a little bit more risky as he gave a push through the corner there to Dana Osborne, and you could see, looked like Osborne's car really didn't like it, but he was able to hold on, and it did help them make some progress and stay surged out in front. Robert Jordan behind Sean Stevens in the back, and I'm looking here. I've noticed a lot of Limitless guys have dropped to the bottom here. Still could be expecting some strategy. It's just a matter of when at this point. As we go back towards the front, 2x2, the third lane, currently only 2 cars. Nothing working there just yet for Adam Kilday and Daniel Holloway. And when we hit that lap, remember, the longest that these guys can go on fuel as it stands right now is probably till somewhere around lap 55. Maybe more closer to lap 50, somewhere between 50 and 55. And if you run it out, you're still going to have to pit. Unless somehow, I mean, you can make it a certain distance here, which we did talk about that. I think you would only have to maybe save about a lap if you were to go in anytime about right now. And actually, no, you wouldn't even have to save if you went in now. That was if they went in as soon as the fuel window opened. But we didn't have any takers. We still don't have any takers. There's maybe a couple pump fakes, but now everybody's realizing that with nobody pitting, it's a good time to start trying to battle it out for a little bit of track position. And that's what we're exactly seeing right here as the top starts to roll just a little bit more now. 46 laps completed. 45 laps completed. Dean Viney, the rookie, sitting in the middle of the action, a little bit towards the back. And that single file line on the inside continues to get longer and longer. It's a pretty rare occasion that we get to see the entirety of the pack single file out. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I certainly don't see that happening for the rest of this race. Looks like Trash S says, number 88, go John Guerra. John Guerra currently sitting on the inside about 6 rows back. One of the first guys that is in that single file line is that's an awkward spot right there for Adam Kilday. Saw out of the corner of my eye that he threw maybe just a little bit of a late block, and Sadusky cut him some slack. But again, another close call that could have potentially ended really, really bad. And if you're one of the guys in the middle of this mess, you're probably not liking what you're seeing. In this case, Daniel Holloway. And as a driver, you can't really just say, guys, I don't like this, I want to get out. I mean, you got guys in front of you, behind you that are relying on you. So you kind of have to push. But if you're Holloway and you're in the middle of 3 wide and you're not either the pusher or the leader, I would feel like that's not a very optimal position to be in. Les Levy's going to jump to the top now as he will look for the lead. And that is going to give a push to the inside line. Middle line, rather, for Donald Sadusky. Daniel Holloway doing everything he can to try to get this 19 out in front and then ultimately see if he can't get himself out in front. And he'll be coming to take lap 48 this next time. Again, still only 3 cautions here so far tonight. Actually, might have been 4. But 46 laps have been completed. It's been pretty clean so far. And it was early on all Cody Nagels and company. But since then, we continue to see such a variety and broadening of different drivers at the front. I mean, here you go right now. You're looking at the 85 of Adam Kilday leading the way, getting a push from Dana Osborne. Donald Sadusky trying to get a push now from the 21 of Daniel Holloway. And I apologize if you hear me maybe mess up a couple of these guys a couple times. Again, the paint schemes really throwing me off here tonight. They certainly look good, but we just have so much of a mix. It's making things a little bit tough. There's Bubba Winningham in the 66 Good Wrench throwback. He's got the white version instead of the black version. It certainly looks pretty good. But something about the dark colors mixed with the red and white just goes together so well. The gear wrench Going to be one of the all-time best paint schemes. And right now, Adam Kilday has it out in front. Cody Nagels, though, said that this car is special to him and how much it would mean to win. But right now, I think he's just biding his time, trying to get some of these laps ticked off. As you see, he currently sits in that 16th spot. And Dawson Wise just in front of him currently in 17th. Dawson is down 16 from where he started. But it's been an okay run so far. I feel like that number hasn't done justice. And we always like to try to get interviews from these guys while they're in the race. Let's see if Dawson will let us do so real quick. And we're going to hold off because caution is out as we got a big wreck on track. There's the 84 of Len McNeese and the 71 making contact, but it was the incident probably just about 100 yards before this that's going to bring out the caution. It comes just as I was getting ready to pull Cody in. And yet again, just like the rest of the wrecks we've seen here today, it's another pretty big one for what it starts as at least. And as we take that look, this is going into turn 3. Ooh, this is going to start from the top. And that's going to be the 62 of Les Levy, the first man to go around sideways. And looking for Les here. Let's look at let's go to the TV follow actually. And watch as they get into the corner. The 21 of Holloway is doing a lot of pushing. Unfortunately, though, you saw just ever so slightly of I don't even want to call it a swipe. Just ever so slightly and delicately slid across the bumper of the 62. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in this time, it was just a little bit too much to the left to start. And it's going to hook 62 of Les Levy down into the 15 of Alex Green. Wow, another big hit. And the 8 car of Rob Connors, again, with nowhere to go. The 33 is going to pile in. He gets some damage through all this as well. That's Ricky Wentworth Jr. And that was a pretty big shot for the 33. Let's take an onboard view here with Les Levy. And watch this hit he takes as he slams into the outside wall. Throws the car on off of all 4 tires through the air. It's going to get clobbered a couple times, and all the wrecks eventually slide down. So everybody that went to the bottom were the ones that felt like they might have been in trouble right there. Some of them made it out, and some of them didn't. Man, big hit for Daniel Holloway as he slides back down, gets tagged again right there by the 33. And that will indeed bring out your 4th caution here of the night, as we are 10 laps over halfway, 50 of 80 laps complete. And that'll put us under 30 to go here once we get the restarts. Assuming that we should be getting the one to go signal next time. So when we come back, we'll get your running order and more. Stick with us here at Talladega. back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Slowly but surely starting to wind down on the end of the Bigfoot 212, sponsored by Robert Jordan here tonight. We talked about what the point situation was looking like earlier. The other thing that we need to bring up, as we always do, of course, is where we're headed next for the NSRA Sunday Night Select Series. And I say Sunday night. Of course, it occurs on Sunday nights, but it's just the Sunday Select Series. By the way, if you know anyone or yourself is interested in joining the series, they're still looking for people. All you got to do is either check just in the description. I believe we have the Discord link, or you could contact David Overstreet, Cody Nagels, any of these guys if you have them on Discord. And we'll talk about the schedule here a little bit more in a minute. But next week, these guys are going to head back to Daytona. It'll be a night race in the trucks. And then back to Legacy Daytona for another race in the trucks before we come back to Talladega to round out the regular season in the Xfinity Series. So just under a month left of regular season racing. Time's winding down in the season for some of these guys to try to keep their playoff chances alive. And it could all be reset with a win here tonight. Green flag is back in the air. David Overstreet in the 0-1. Brian Kaufman lined up row 1, but it's going to be Overstreet who gets the advantage coming across the line. And they're already going to get side by side. No three wide yet. In fact, long single file line. It's going to probably take 2 or 3 laps to get enough momentum generated to really get that third lane working. But with the restart here being on lap 52, they can make it all the way to lap 72 on fuel. So it's still, for now, set in stone a one stop unless we get a caution any time after lap 60. Then that would officially eliminate any green flag stops here for the night. And again, I still think maybe there's some strategy to be played on pitting, I would say probably at lap 60, maybe 62, just to be extra safe and making up time on the racetrack. Again, you'll take a little bit less fuel. I really like that call, but we'll see if anybody decides to give it a try. Overstreet is going to lose the lead on that lap just barely. All he's got to do, though, is try to hold off the outside. Donald Sadusky's not going to be able to do it. Into turn 1, Sadusky gets clear. Will he drop down? I think he might have saw that inside line was starting to get a little squirrely and a little disorganized. So he's going to stay at the top right now as he continues to get a great push from the 0-1. Now we're going to see the third lane start to form up. Looks like that's the 72 machine that's going to jump to the top. Daniel Jackson, he is going to get a lot of support here. In a quick hurry as Overstreet's going to lose the lead as Donald Sadusky drops down to 62 of Les Levy, along with Dana Osborne and Adam Kilday. The 4 cars making up that third lane. See if anybody else decides to jump up. That really broke the momentum up for the middle, so I think Sadusky decided at about the perfect time to drop down, or he may have been headed towards the back a little bit. But Alex Green, 3rd in line. You see Cody Nagels 4th. I think Cody likes being 4th on the inside, knowing that there is still a green flag pit stop. But everybody that's on this third lane, got to think they don't have any plans to pit around lap 60. Now it's going to be the rookie Michael Triscaro. He's going to jump to the top. Saw the run coming from Dana Osborne and says, I'll tango. Let's do a little dance here as they're going to try to make their way to the front. And you saw in the distance there, we already have, looks like a couple cars that are no longer able to keep pace with the pack. This is most likely due to damage, I would have to think. And there you see the 71. Looks pretty clean, but has been involved in a wreck or 2 here tonight. That's Dean Viney. And then Rob Connors as well in the 8 car. Nowhere to be found in terms of reference with him and the pack. So this could have been paying a tow bill. I'm just not sure. But Les Levy, by the way, who is up here, he is currently a lap down, fighting for that lucky dog position, though, as there's a couple guys that aren't on the lead lap up here. But you see in the middle, things starting to get a little tighter. The side draft being used more and more as Holloway, oh man, almost made some contact, and almost contact again right there between the 21 and the 8 of Dana Osborne. Trying to get everything through the corner, trying to hold the lane below you even. And there was almost another big wreck right there. If Dana Osborne and Daniel Holloway would have got together, that would have not ended too pretty. Donald Sadusky now the lead pusher on the bottom as, oh, that's not going to work. 68 of Overstreet up into the pack. And it's going to bring out another caution as this is going to collect 5 or 6 of them. Ooh, and that was a big hit towards the end for Dana Osborne. And, oh, man, you got to hope, but I think that's Les Levy, who may have been involved in the initial part, but I couldn't tell. And if he wasn't, that's really going to hurt him, as that will take away his chance of the lucky dog, along with giving him pretty heavy damage. Brings out your 5th caution here of the night with exactly 25 laps to go. And here we go. So you saw Overstreet dip to the apron here a little bit, but I don't think it was necessarily anything intentional. They're 3 wide. You see Bubba Winningham in the middle, Dana Osborne up top. Overstreet merges back onto the track, but sometimes you hit that apron, it gets your car a little unstable, but he seems okay here. And it's going to be, looks like Bubba Winningham coming down actually and collecting Overstreet. It was an odd look initially from the view we had. It almost had looked like Overstreet maybe thought he was clear, but certainly not the case looking back on it here via replay. It just looks like Bubba Winningham, is there any netcode involved or does he make some contact? You know, and I got to say in Bubba's defense here, I wonder if he actually got netcoded slightly from the top line. Watch him and Dana Osborne. Yeah, you see the 66 get shot down. I think that might have been the case. And once that shoots him down, yeah, again, just some slight netcode between him and David Overstreet. Sends Overstreet up the track, and then now it's on. Everybody with nowhere to go. You see Cody Nagels was able to jump to the apron here as him and Alex Green going to make some contact, but they both save it. And then now it's going to be where everybody starts just getting destroyed. You see Les Levy, he is not involved in the initial incident, but he is going to come in late here. Watch this as we'll speed it up a little bit. Everybody trying to make it through. Gap closes for the 343, and then, Les Levy was going to try to shoot the gap there at the end, but unfortunately the steep banking here at Talladega caused that 8 car of Dana Osborne to slide down. We'll take a couple different views of this one. And the hit for Dana Osborne, I mean, I think he was already going to have to use a fast repair, but watch the car. You see he's going to lock up the brakes and, rolled down there at the end. I'm thinking he may have still had him locked up. Hard to tell. Nonetheless, we'll take 2 more shots of it. One from the fan cam. Yeah, just, I think most of the incidents that we have seen here tonight have been a result of some sort of netcode, which is exactly what seems like sparked that wreck right there. And had a decent amount of guys get through it, as again, it collected probably about 6 to 8. Looking at the secondary count on it. And let's ride on board here actually with Les Levy. You'll see just how tough it is in a situation. I'll kind of break this down for you. So he sees the wreck and immediately check up. He knows he's in a good lucky dog spot. Checking up. And you got to stay rolling to maintain position. He thinks he's clear. Oh, and man, I'll tell you what. Back this up, and I want you to at home if you can here. This is the best way to kind of look at it. Focus on straight in front of you right here. Don't look up top. And if you're looking straight ahead, he kind of gets smoke screened a little bit. And now his mirror's kind of blind spotting. And right here as the smoke clears is where he can really see the 8 of Dana Osborne. But, I mean, it's just too late at that point. And that's just really unfortunate timing for both guys. Nonetheless, we'll see which ones of them have a fast repair left. And while we've had 5 cautions, not too bad all things considered again here tonight, most of the wrecks have cleaned up a pretty good amount of cars. So I think we're at the point now where we may have to see some guys either start retiring or start falling laps down from damage. This looks like Logan York in the chat says go Michael Triscaro and Danny Barnes, along with go Cody Nagels. And Danny Barnes is not in this race, Logan, but certainly appreciate the enthusiasm, as a lot of guys that we do see around the money racing scene are, of course, in here tonight, including Triscaro and Cody Nagels. And speaking of Triscaro, he's sitting third, so let's go over what your starting lineup is going to look like right here. The 71 is looking to get a wave around here if he can, and that is Dean Viney, one of the rookies, currently only a lap down as it stands. But Brian Kaufman is leading the way here with 23 laps to go. Michael Triscaro back in second with Cody Nagels in third. Alex Green in fourth, Donald Sadusky fifth. DJ Thomas back in sixth with Robert Morrison in seventh, John Guerra eighth, Dawson Wise in ninth, and Alex Giffen rounding out your top 10. It does look like Dawson did take a fast repair, and I think that might be the last one the 98 has. I was going to get a quick word with him, but I think we'll let him get himself prepped here, as they did get the one to go signal, so they will be going back green this lap. And as we talked a little bit about the schedule earlier, you look into what the schedule for next season is looking like. It was announced, and for next season, looks like the schedule is going to kick off with the trucks at Talladega. But, you know, instead of going through each race, just talk about some of the major things. And that starts with the fact that they're going to head to Atlanta. New Atlanta, of course, which races just like a super speedway for, looks like, quite a few races next season. There's also going to be 2 races in the, actually, looking at it here, for the off week. They're going to have, no, I was still looking for it here. No, they do have an off week for Easter, it looks like, but then after that, they're going to head to Atlanta in the Cup car. That might be the only time. They do a couple next-gen races next season and a couple ARCA races along with a majority of Xfinity and Truck Split. And so it's going to be interesting then. The championship race is going to be 118 laps longer than the rest of them. So it's going to be a fun season to say the least. And I believe it starts right around the time that the Daytona 500 and Speed Weeks for real life are going to start up. So it'll be an exciting time for sim racing. And all these guys going to be looking to see if they can add some more hardware at the end of this season first before we get on to next season. Cody Nagels, the defending champion, is looking to continue that trend here tonight by adding another win and continue his chances at the playoffs. He's already basically locked in at this point. Green flag is back in the air now with 22 laps to go. Michael Triscaro lined up on the outside. He's got a good push from Alex Green right off the jump, but it stands as only 2 cars for now. They're going to need some more help. John Guerra on the outside, looking for a little bit of a run to see if he can get up here before somebody else does. Donald Sadusky look for that 19 to maybe be the man to jump up. And right now, Cody Nagels is in the exact position he wants, but he's got a little bit of a newer guy in front of him. Again, first race of the season here for Brian Kaufman. You got to wonder, will Brian do what we see some of these other guys do and jump up to control lanes, or will he stay committed to the bottom for the rest of this race? When we went green, by the way, with 22 laps to go, fuel is really, really close. Guys probably just about 2 laps short, maybe 2.5, depending on if you topped off on fuel. So we may not see that much racing for guys that feel like they can save fuel. We'll have to see how the pack spreads out here, and it'll probably spread out pretty quick. And if we do see that pit stop, you got to assume it'd probably be closer towards the end of the run. I don't see anybody pitting here in a lap or two, especially with the fact that we just got the restart back underway. But any caution now from this point on, and there will be officially no green flag pit stops. Alex Green started to get a little bit loose on the back bumper of Michael Triscaro, but I think that's just because he's pushed him as hard as he can, and it's going to pay off. Michael Triscaro gets clear, found himself in this position last week on the last lap, and now he finds himself with a chance to win again here tonight. 21 laps to go, though, still a long way to try to hold on. And right now his main focus is going to be trying to stay in front on this inside line, especially when you got Alex Green continuing to try to make a pretty big run on the outside. Now we're going to see a third lane start to form. Russ Hancock's going to jump to the outside, and it looks like, is that going to be the 99 of Alex Giffen that's going to go with him? And no more takers, makes it 3 in the middle, 2 up top. Don't think that top line's going to last for very long unless somebody else chooses to go up. Now you see Sean Stevens and Len McNee start to pop into the picture in the middle. As we go back right now, Michael Triscaro, we talked about, it's got to lead 21 laps. That's where things can start to get a little stressful. But as we go to the onboard cam, he looks about as cool, calm, and collected as you could be right now. Leading the inside, all he's got to really do is try to hold a nice, smooth, and steady wheel, which is exactly what he continues to do for the moment. You go back to the position just behind him. There's Brian Kaufman. Oh, gonna have to we are gonna see early pit stops right here. This one's gonna caught me off guard up here in the booth. Some lockups, but these guys all on relatively newer tires. And wow, interesting strategy again. The fuel window just opened last lap. So I'll tell you what, if everyone is gonna indeed have to pit, then this is a great strategy. As the 85 Adam Kilday in the background got into his box a little bit incorrect. Looks like the 01's going to slightly overshoot as well. And these guys just going to take a quick splash and go. No need for tires at this point, and as they all race out, Michael Triscaro not quite the stop he wanted, but he looks like he's still going to be able to tag onto the back of the pack. Yeah, sure enough. He'll get behind Joshua Gathright. And up front, Donald Sadusky, and on the bottom, Alex Green. How do these guys all respond? And we're going to get a couple more that are going to bring it down to the pits this time, including Alex Green, your leader. And everybody trying to be nice and smooth. Big lockup for Alex Green. I don't know if he made pit road speed. Certainly coming in hot for the 15 machine. And it looks like the 68 of Overstreet followed in. So did Mark Mann just behind him. Dusty Burkhart, Rick Sebreens. And as they all come to a stop, you cannot miss your box. This is the money stop. So far, so good. Looks like these guys maybe got in just a little bit cleaner. And Alex Green did not get a speeding penalty. Neither did the 8. And they're all going to come out as one unit just as they went in. Let's see how that first group's going to compare. Watching for Cody Nagels and company. And yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to tag on here pretty good. They certainly did not lose all that much time. We'll see how that pans out in just a moment. But up front, Donald Sadusky, John Garrett. Will they decide to pit this time? Sure enough, they will. This is going to peel off. Looks like everybody except Les Levy, who is not currently on the lead lap. So nobody must have been good to go on fuel. I think everybody was short by probably a couple laps. And nobody wanted to risk trying to stay out. And, of course, you're going to have other guys that stay out in order for you to save fuel. You got to utilize the draft. And if no one stays out, then you really can't save fuel. But these guys waiting those couple extra laps, you got to wonder, is that enough for all the guys that already pit to maybe try to get in front of them? Taking a look at the track map, they're working their way, roaring their way rather, off of turn number 4 into the tri-oval. Looks like it's going to be Donald Sadusky that leads him out. He got a good exit, but I still think this group is going to merge into one big group. I think only a couple guys weren't able to tag on. As you see, they are already 3 wide as they come roaring across the start-finish line now. Make it 17 laps to go. Donald Sadusky trying to get ahead of this pack as, ooh, man, there might be some incidents right here as the 3 wide does not look like it is very smooth right now. Now we're going to see Michael Trisco jump up to the top. Everybody realizes this is going to be the battle for the win. And as they all get it sorted out, they are indeed going to all catch these 3 of Donald Sadusky, John Guerin, 27. Mark Mann, Dana Osborne jumping to the top side with a lot of momentum now. Daniel Holloway as well. Remember what we said earlier about Mark? He likes to play it safe until the end of the race. Exactly what he's done here tonight. And now he finds himself out in the lead, but Dana Osborne's going to dump him off. Leads the 04 to the inside by himself. Daniel Holloway, though, another one of the final 4 with Mark Mann last season, says, I'm going to go ahead and help the veteran out. And sticking with the 04, 3 wide. A couple guys look like they are considering taking it 4 wide. And Cody Nagel's got himself trapped in the middle. I don't think that's the place he really wants to be right now. And we'll see if he decides to stay there or maybe drop to the bottom. Top, nowhere to go right now. David Overstreet is leading it. He is getting a big, big push right now. As Donald Sadusky further back, you saw lead him off the pits. He fell back to 4th on the inside line as just didn't have enough help to maintain. And the 8 of Dana Osborne, man, Rick Seabrings has given him a big, big push, but you can see that 8 car is not feeling too good about it. So as they stay 3 wide, we look at some of the guys that maybe had some struggles through this pit stop here. Not too many. In fact, you have to go all the way back. Larry Dickerson looks like he's the last man in this lead pack. Bubba Winningham is currently drafting with the 99 of Alex Giffen and the 33 of Ricky Wentworth. Ricky, of course, the other guy that was carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight, looks like he hung it up. But nonetheless, these 3 are trying everything in their power to catch up to the back bumper of Larry Dickerson. And right now they sit at exactly 1.6 seconds, and they're just about to break within range, a second and a half. But since they've caught the draft out of Joshua Gathright, they're going to pull up, and you can go ahead and tack on 3 more to the lead pack. Rob Connors currently drafting with Adam Kilday and Les Levy. Actually, just Adam Kilday. And it looks like a lap car. That's the 71 of Dean Viney. Don't think these 3 are going to have enough time to catch the leaders, as it looks like they currently sit pretty good ways back. In fact, trying to over 8 seconds just from the back bumper of Ricky Wentworth, never mind the lead pack. And with 14 laps to go, they're certainly going to need a caution, but I would not rule it out of the question because these guys have gotten really, really chaotic here towards the end of this race. We're seeing a lot more movement and a lot more what earlier was just simple bump draft had gone to full-on shoving down the straightaways and in the corners. And there's that fine line. The question is going to be, can everyone keep from crossing it for the rest of this race? Rick Sebring's first time that he's had a shot at going for the lead here tonight, and he's going to have to find a way to get Dana Osborne clear enough to drop down low if he wants it. Got to really manage your temps right here. We see a little cloud cover coming over the track now, and as we take a look at the track temp, significantly dropped as it is now 2:30 sim time. Now down to just over 100 degrees at 108. So handling's going to pick up, and the inside's going to start to roll just a little bit better. But with enough push, and that outside has a chance to get clear. Osborne trying to slam the door into 1, and he's going to be able to do just that. Mark Mann now is going to fall to 2nd, and Rick Sebring's going to get a big push right here from Cody Nagels. Cody made sure to save a little temp just for this moment. And now that he's got it, he is going to be able to try to shove this forward to the lead. We'll see if Rick decides to jump low or maybe stay up top for the moment. No more 3 wide just yet. But you see a couple guys look like they're maybe geared up for it. Robert Jordan, he's going to try to work in a run here. Dawson Wise trying to help him. The 74, though, looks like he's washing up a little bit right here. Now he's going to jump back in the draft. That did allow Donald Sadusky to jump up top. And I think we're going to get ready to start seeing some three-wide action as we come now to 12 laps to go. We're going to take our final side-by-side break before we stay here to the finish. Get a drink of water. Get ready for this call. It's going to be a fun one. Stick with us. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway where disaster has struck again. The ticking time bomb finally exploded, and it collected quite a few of them. Let's go back and take a look at what brings out, I believe it was your sixth caution here of the night. They got back to three wide pretty quick as soon as we got to break. And on the top, Donald Sadusky trying everything to push the rookie Michael Trasquero to the lead. And unfortunately, it looks like he just gets him a little bit offset. And we talked about it early in the broadcast, pushing in the corners, risk versus reward. At this point in the race, don't think Michael Trasquero's too mad at Donald, but you see right there, he's just going to get a little offset to the left, bumps him, and that's just all it takes. Unfortunately, though, this sends Trasquero right down into the middle of the field. And when you're three wide, usually not a lot of guys are going to be able to escape, as was the case here, down into Cody Nagels, Rick Sebreens as well, and then here we go. It's on. The 34 is going to get pinned up in the air. Mark Mann, Alex Green, bam! Big shot into the inside wall for Mark Mann. More guys going to pile in. A lot of big hits through that incident. As you see hoods, we got debris flying every which way. Watch this hit from Mark Mann. Boom. I mean, he hit it and then got propelled back into it. Michael Trasquero took a pretty good shot as well through this. Just a big, big incident. And, oh, you saw Dawson Wise tried everything to sneak through it. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to do so. Alex Giffen, on the other hand, I thought that might have been him that I just saw. I think he may have made it through all of this. Let's go take a ride on the cockpit view here for Alex. Because, yeah, you see he was a little bit behind this. He sees him start wrecking, stays in the throttle, and then bails out. hard on the brakes, trying to get checked up, and man, close call, but does a nice job of getting around it. As does the 25 of Larry Dickerson, it looks like. I don't believe he got any damage in this. See, he was a little closer. They start wrecking. He's going to dive to the inside, makes a couple of them miss, sees the 74 of Robert Jordan go spinning, and somehow, you know, he looks like he held a pretty straight line through it, and sometimes that's the way to do it. Everybody else, make them miss you. So we'll take a look now from the wall cam and then one final angle of it. Probably the biggest wreck we've seen so far here tonight in terms of total damage, at least. Just looking from TV5. Again, just nobody really able to escape this one. Donald Sadusky got spun around. I don't know how bad his damage was. At least not too much on the front. Does have a little bit on the left front, though. And so now as we get the one to go signal, it's going to change up your front runners here a little bit. Dana Osborne, he got through it all, and he is now being scored as the leader of the race. And again, everybody had already pit and good to go on fuel, so nobody that didn't get involved in that wreck in the right mind would pit here, as it looks like was the case. So Dana Osborne leading, Brian Kaufman in second. It's Sean Stevens back in third with John Guerra in fourth, Robert Morrison in fifth, DJ Thomas in sixth, Bubba Winningham in seventh with Russ Hancock in eighth, Alex Giffen in ninth, Larry Dickerson in 10th, Donald Sadusky back in 11th, Dusty Burkhart 12th, Daniel Holloway in 13th, David Overstreet in 14th. It's going to be Cody Nagels in 15th with Adam Kilday in 16th, Len McNeese in 17th, Michael Triscaro back in 18th, and then you got Rob Connors and Les Levy rounding out your top 20. And right now it looks like we still got 26 on the lead lap. Dean Viney still the first man a lap down, looking to see if he can get that lucky dog. Just hasn't had a lot of breaks, and then looking at guys that have had to retire from this race, believe it or not, nobody so far. In fact, there is still quite a few clean cars despite what seems like a lot of damage through multiple wrecks that we've seen here tonight. Again, 6 caution. But it's going to be 7 laps to go when we get the green. That is enough time for these guys to get up to speed and get racing for probably about 5 laps or so. And, of course, if we can make it, while it still seems like a good distance away, and it is, I mean, 2.65 miles is a long lap, about a minute per lap for these guys. So a lot of things can happen in that time frame, but if we make it to the white flag, this race will be official. And as the trend likes to go, it seems like we always have that last lap wreck that we see on the white flag lap. And we'll see if we see it here tonight. I think if we have as many cars as we still have running, it's certainly a pretty big possibility. Osborne looking for his first win of the season. Brian Kaufman looking for his first win of the season and in his first race. John Guerra, Sean Stevens, 2 more guys looking for their first win of the season. Make it everybody in the top 3, as a matter of fact. And further back, green flag is back in the air. 7 laps to go at Talladega. Are we going to crown a new winner tonight? The 8 of Dana Osborne to a pretty good start. Already seeing some guys consider 3 wide for the back. Looks like Alex Giffen thought about it. Donald Sadusky, though, is now going to think about splitting that 99 car. And he's going to pull up to the back bumper of Bubba Winningham is up front. They continue to stay side by side. Look for a big push right here from Sean Stevens. This is where he's really got to try to get that 0-1 clear. You see the 88 of John Guerra not quite locked up. Now the outside and the inside both getting locked up. But it's not quite going to be enough of a push. If you're Stevens here, with yourself not being able to get clear that time, you kind of have 2 options. You either force the issue, but right now I'm going to go ahead and scratch that thought. Oh, yellow flag is out, actually. Further back, we got some trouble. Looking for exactly where it was. Alex Green involved. Yeah. Oh, he's upside down on the apron. Who was that? Was that Dean? I could not tell who that was. We had one car upside down. That's Robert Jordan. And I think he flipped back over. That thing is heavily, heavily banged up. Not off. I mean, the suspension is gone from it. You can hear it. Yeah, you can see the front end is destroyed. The rear end's destroyed. The deck lid's destroyed. I mean, every single corner of that car is totaled. I mean, I guess when you figure he got upside down. Let's go take a look what happens. Brings out now the 7th caution. So Alex Green goes to the middle. And, there's some contact between him and Robert Jordan. Then the 62 gets sent up. Pins Robert Jordan against the wall. That puts him on his side. Rides along the safer barrier. And then as he comes down along the banking, actually stays on his side for quite a while before he's going to roll over and then ultimately flip back over. So not quite the wild barrel roll that we've seen sometimes. But, Alex making it 3 wide here. not necessarily the best move in this situation, especially when you don't really have any help, but felt like there was some positions to gain and decides to try to split the middle. My question was, did he make some contact before he came down with Robert? So as they get into the turn, now he's going to draw even and looking for a side draft. Ooh, actually Robert comes down a bit, and we'll give him the credit there. As Alex is there, watch Robert offset from the bumper. You see, yeah, Robert's just slightly coming down, but it's enough to where they just get too tight. Alex goes up and gets into Robert Jordan, just slightly going up, by the way, and then Les Levy, who wasn't even on the lead lap here, just an innocent bystander, and then there's the ride for Robert Jordan that pins him up along the side. And then ultimately the long slide down the over 30-degree banking. And this was the view we first saw, and you can see why it kind of caught me a little bit by surprise. So we had caution forward, didn't see anything. Then all of a sudden, the next thing we saw was a car upside down. Here's going to be the hit and the onboard for Robert Jordan. So he rides up. Couldn't see anything there for a minute. He was actually inside of one of the cars. My goodness. Long slide before he flips over. And I'll tell you what, it's probably for the best that that thing did flip over, because he was able to continue in terms of at least drive it to the pits. If not, he had to tow it. But I don't think Robert Jordan has a faster pair left. And that would be his race if that's the case. But we'll find out here in just a moment. Here's the final view from the wall cam. We have seen some crazy things here tonight, and they just keep getting crazier and crazier as this restart here, assuming that we get the one to go this next time, is going to put us at a 3-lap to go restart. So it won't be overtime just yet, but if we were to get another caution, then it certainly would. And since we're finally going to have a chance to, I want to see if we can get one of these guys up here for a quick interview. And Brian Kaufman has been really impressing tonight. Let's see if we can maybe go find him here and pull him up for a quick word. And after taking a couple looks, I don't know if I'm just missing something here, but I don't see anybody currently from your top two in the booth. And I was considering John Guerra, but I know we had talked to him last week, was trying to get one of these guys that maybe we don't normally get that's having a great run here tonight. But I unfortunately do not see Kaufman in any of the channels, so we're not going to be able to pull him up for an interview. But nonetheless, he will be getting one here if he can finish this thing off with a win. But he's still going to have a lot of work ahead of him as that third lane, once they split him, it gets really stressful leading the middle. And we'll see how loyal Sean Stevens decides to be here. He's going to be the first guy that'll have that opportunity to split 3 wide if he so chooses to do so. And how about the run tonight for Robert Morrison? I feel like maybe he tried a different strategy here tonight of trying to play it conservative earlier, and now flipping the switch, similar to what we saw from Mark Mann. He is now at the front, up 14 from where he started. Currently the last man inside the top 5. And as we go further back in the field, guys that we saw dominant earlier that are in the back now that are really going to have to try to make up some time in a hurry are all the big hitters. We do start to see damage further back you go. That looks like it's not going to be repairable. Dawson Wise, one of those cars now, had to use both fast pairs. I think he is hoping that this just probably turns into a junkyard on that final lap. But Michael Triscaro sitting pretty far back. So is Cody Nagels. We'll see if those two can make a run to the front in the last 3 laps. Again, this is going to give these guys 1 lap to get up to speed and then 2 laps to really duke things out. Got to make it to the white flag for things to be official. It's been crazy so far tonight. Can we do it? Dana Osborne and Brian Kaufman into the Geico restart zone, potentially the final time. Green flag is back in the air. 3 laps to go at Talladega. Good jump for the inside line. But you can see the outside is the one that's more organized as they're going to go into turn 1. It's going to be the exact same thing as last restart where Sean Stevens really needs to try to get locked onto the 0-1. Robert Morrison needs to stay nice and tucked as well. This is your one chance at it here. You got to get that 0-1 clear. If you don't, you're either going to have to commit or split them 3 wide. Guerra not locked onto the bumper of Osborne just yet. You can see the momentum starting to surge for the outside. But now Guerra's going to get there. He's going to be able to hold him off. Dana Osborne will hold on to the lead as they go into turn number 3. And now we're going to see the 3 wide on the outside line. Here comes the 343 car. Russ Hancock as well with the 21 of Daniel Holloway. Everybody fighting for real estate. The 0-1's going to get turned up into the pack. They're going to bring out the caution yet again as another big wreck's going to ensue. And it looks like Holloway's involved. The 69 of Burkhardt, another big hit. Stevens takes another hit. And if you're any of these guys coming up on it, you're just going to say you might as well just stop at this point. As we got a whole bunch of carnage down by the entrance to the pits. 66 is destroyed. Russ Hancock's heavily beaten. It looks like Alex Giffen as well. And so now it brings out your 8th caution. Boy, it seems like things have started to get a little messy here towards the end. Let's go back, take a look. And I just started to put my eyes further back in the pack right here as the guys, we saw that 3rd lane start to form up. And I was looking to see exactly who all was in it. You saw Cody Nagels hopping up, getting ready to make a run to the front. But it's going to be something that starts towards the front of the field. As you see, it starts with the 0-1 of Brian Kaufman. Does he get a little help here? You see Sean Stevens pushing him square. Guerra jumping up a little bit. No harm, no foul there. Ooh, Stevens just gets a little offset. Same exact thing we saw with Donald Sadusky on the back bumper of Michael Triscaro, and that's all it took. Turns the 0-1 around, sends him down into John Guerra. That's going to send Guerra up into the outside wall hard. Hard hit for Sean Stevens as well, and then now it's just everybody trying to find a way to miss it. See Bubba Winningham spin. This is going to collect a couple more guys, a couple big hits to the inside wall right here. And Mark Mann looks like, was he able to avoid it all? I think he was. And I mean, this turned into an absolute parking lot. In fact, I want to go right on board next with Mark Mann here to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now watch this view as they come off turn 4. I mean, it's just, again, just one of the, every wreck tonight has felt like it's been just about the entire field. And man sees it. He's downshifting, doing everything to get woed up. He does just that. And now it's just trying to cruise through here, hoping that the seas stay parted. And they do just that. Mark Mann's able to get back up to speed and continue on. As the fans had a good view of this one as well. Take a look from the fan cam. Boom. Big hit to the outside wall, and then it's all going to translate down to the inside wall. And that one probably collected about 10 to 12 of them. Then there's a secondary hit for Burkhardt and another hit for the 0-1 of Brian Kaufman with nowhere to go. The 33 just decides to bring it to a stop. Ricky Wentworth. And we will take one more look at it here from the wall cam. And so as we go back live, talk about it, your 8th caution of the night, and what it's going to do is send us into our first overtime. And I think I might have said we had 3 green light checkers, but we actually only have 2. And so if these guys can't get it done during this first overtime, they'll have one more shot at it. And if they get another caution, then the race were to finish under caution if that were to be the case. But up front, it is Dana Osborne leading, DJ Thomas in second, Donald Sadusky in third, Larry Dickerson back in fourth, and Adam Kilday currently rounding out your top 5. David Overstreet back in 6th, Cody Nagel 7th. It's going to be Michael Triscaro 8th, Rob Connors 9th, Daniel Jackson in 10th, Mark Mann 11th, Ricky Wentworth in 12th, Les Levy in 13th, Robert Morrison in 14th, Brian Kaufman in 15th. And yet again, I'm still shocked at how many clean cars we still see on the track. For another wreck that I thought would probably have cleaned out a couple more of them, but it doesn't seem like that was the case. And so as we look up front at some of the guys that we have up here that are going to have a chance at winning this thing, I feel like one of the ones that catches my eye right here is Donald Sadusky. We talked about him earlier, haven't seen him too many times this season, only a couple, but the couple runs that he's had, he's made great work of them. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Donald, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Well, it's been a pretty chaotic race so far, and we're starting to see a lot of pushing in the corners, not working out too well towards the end of this race, but you find yourself back up inside the top 3. How are you going to be able to get the win here?
I'm going to try to do a Dana move. See if I can push Dana and ahead of DJ, maybe get up in front of DJ. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, looks like we're having a little bit of communication issues with you, but I think we heard for the most part the game plan there. So good luck. We'll see if you can get your first win of the season here tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
And we'll move Donald back to his room there. You heard, I don't know if it sounded like this on the broadcast end, but it was really staticky for me. But, man, such a chaotic end to this race so far, and it's just going to get crazier. I didn't realize that Cody Nagels had a fast pair left either, so that 3 car is not done fighting just yet, and if all you got to do is give him a chance, and he'll do the rest. But DJ Thomas, he's been here, done this before, got the win. And, I mean, how about the 25 of Larry Dickerson? First time we've seen him up front all race. He's up 22 total from where he started, and he picked a great time to be up here, as it is going to be right at the first overtime. Remember, you don't have to lead any of the 79 to 80 laps we've ran. All you got to do is lead the last one. Again, how green-white checkers work, we are going to have 1 lap for everybody to get up to speed. If the caution comes out on that first lap, we will rack them up and try it again. However, if we make it to the white flag, race will be official. Cody Nagels, actually, I take it back. I don't think he used his faster pair, as you did see a little bit of damage on the back of that car. There he is, getting ready for one more run at it, trying to see if he can make it to the front. Michael Triscaro as well, back up here. Going to be starting from 8th on the outside. He's going to have a chance to take it 3 wide if he chooses to. We'll see if he gets any help in the process and can also get himself to the front. 2-lap shootout, Talladega style. Last win for Dale Earnhardt on this day, 23 years ago. Green flag is in the air, 2 laps to go. Good even start this time for both lanes on the inside. Dana Osborne working his way through the gears, getting a good push from Donald Sadusky. Now remember earlier we saw Donald do a lot of pushing in the corner, but getting just slightly offset can turn a guy around, so we'll see how the 19 tries to do it this time. Able to get the 8 clear. Dana, though, not going to hop up as he continues to roll the bottom. We'll see if anybody else here decides to try to jump up to the top. 3rd lane already forming, and oh, guess who? Adam Kilday and Cody Nagels. And actually, that's going to be David Overstreet. Kilday on the bottom, both of them similar paint scheme. Overstreet making the run on the top. Cody Nagels just behind him. Michael Triscaro, that 3rd car. And now everybody bailing on the bottom is DJ Thomas. Just as he loses some help, he's going to get some here from Donald Sadusky, who now chooses to move up to the middle. And as they work their way down the short chute into the tribal, Flagman has the white flag in air. It's going to be 1 lap to go at Talladega. Who is going to win it? Still 3 wide, but right now it's the bottom 2 lanes that are rolling a lot better. That top being led by David Overstreet. Not sure why it hasn't developed anymore yet, but Mark Mann's going to jump up to the top, see if he can get it to develop. Cody Nagels still sitting. DJ Thomas looked like he thought about splitting Sadusky. Now he's going to do it. Cody not able to jump out to help his teammate. Instead, Mark Mann's going to beat him to the punch. Everybody now starting to file into their final gridlock positions. It's going to be a 3-way battle, all push. No give at this point, all the way to the start-finish line. Everybody trying to keep it clean. A lot of movement going on, but it's still Dana Osborne with the nose out and ahead. Now, as they work their way off turn 4 for the final time, they're going to wreck out back. Cody Nagels with a move out of nowhere to the top line. This is going to put him 3x3 into the tribal. Some contact. Can they keep it clean? It's going to be a drag race all the way to the finish. They bump, they bang, and it's going to be Dana Osborne unofficially wins it by less than 100th of a second. Cody Nagels in 2nd, and Donald Sadusky finishes on the podium. What a finish. And if this goes official here, again, it was so close. I couldn't tell, and I'm not, sometimes our scoring gets it wrong, so let's go back and take a look at it before we say anything. Then that would be Dana Osborne's first win of the season. And it comes in dramatic fashion. Here you go through the tribal. Full push at this point. The bottom actually had the least amount of help, too. You see it's only Adam Kilday. Now they start to beat and bang a little bit. And at the line, sure enough, Dana Osborne just inches him out. I mean, by that had to be fraction of a... I can't even tell how close it was. This is the closest view we can get, and we'll change the camera angle back. Wow, I mean, he got him by less than, I wouldn't even call it a nose at that point. Not even a front bumper. And the battle between, or actually the finish between second and third, Cody Nichols and Donald Sadusky, was even closer than that. Holy cow, what a finish and what a win for Dana Osborne as he celebrates, burning it down at the start-finish line. Again, his first win of the season and going to help his chances here for making the playoffs at the end of the season. Been through a lot of stuff tonight, but he did a phenomenal job on that overtime, and he's going to have to give some kudos to his pusher on the bottom. But wow, the amount of shuffling that we saw going on in those last two laps was absolutely crazy. Let's go back and take a look at this finish one more time. I cannot get enough of it. This is from the TV6 view. And there you go. As the field comes roaring at you. I was trying to see if we could get a little bit of a closer cam. The restart cam never disappoints. So here you go. There's the bump from Cody Nichols into Donald Sadusky. Translates into Osborne, and now we're going to have to go frame by frame again. If there's a couple more feet to the start-finish, I mean, they were 4 wide at the line. That is just absolutely phenomenal stuff. But ultimately, it is Dana Osborne that gets the win here at Talladega by less than 100th of a second. Taking a look at your finishing results here for the night. Dana Osborne gets the win. Cody Nichols finishes second. Donald Sadusky in third. It's going to be Adam Kilday back and forth with DJ Thomas in fifth. Robert Morrison, good finish for him tonight. Brings it home in sixth. Mark Mann in seventh. Michael Triscaro in eighth with David Overstreet in ninth. And Daniel Jackson rounding out your top 10. Larry Dickerson finishes 11th. It's going to be Daniel Holloway in 12th. Bubba Winningham 13th. Len McNeese back in 14th with Brian Kaufman in 15th. Alex Giffen finishes up in 16th. In 17th, it's going to be Rob Connors. Russ Hancock rounding out your top 18. Les Levy finishes 19th. It's going to be Joshua Gathright in 20th. Dawson Wise 21st. Ricky Wentworth in 22nd. Dean Vine in 23rd with John Garrow 24th. Dusty Burkhart 25th. Rick Seabreen's in 26th. Sean Stevens 27th. Alex Green in 28th. And Robert Jordan rounding out the field tonight in 29th position. All right, we are going to go get your top 3 for interviews, and we will get to hear, of course, with one of those top 3, your winner, Dana Osborne. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live here at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first with your third-place finisher here tonight, Donald Sadusky. Donald, this is also up the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do. You hear me?
Yeah, all right. Well, you bring home a third-place finish here tonight and an absolute thriller of a finish. Walk us through those last 2 laps, as crazy as they were, and how you ended up in the middle coming across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I think Dana was trail breaking, and first of all, I want to thank Robert Jordan for sponsoring it. But yeah, and then I got that run, like I said, I got that run to get up in front of DJ. He pushed me, and then Cody got behind me. I thought Cody was going to stay with me, but he got out. And then also, I just got a shove, man. I don't know who pushed me, and then Cody came down, and then I went down to Dana, and that was That was an awesome finish. Awesome finish.
Well, you come up just short of the win, but it is your first podium of the season. Before we let you head out tonight, is there anybody else you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, Dale, my son Ryan, David Overstreet, and the admins, everybody that runs this awesome league. You up in the booth, awesome broadcasting, and the fans watching.
All right. Hey, good way to go out, and congrats again on that third place finish. Thanks for talking to us, Donald.
Hey, thank you. Have a good one.
You too. All right, that's going to lead us to your second place finisher, but we did get word that, unfortunately, Dana Osborne does not have Discord, it looks like, so we will not be able to hear from him. Nonetheless, though, let's bring in Cody Nagels. Hey, Cody, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, you said you wanted to put the car in victory lane. You come up just short. But overall, I mean, I didn't even think we'd see you back on the front row there in those last two laps from where you started. How did you manage to get up there and get a shot to win it there at the line?
I don't know. Maybe Dale was looking over me and kind of guiding me on where to go. And I don't know. We always said he could see air and feel the air because he had that open face helmet. So I just tried to go with the runs that I figured Dale would go with. And I was just going to push Donald to the win, honestly, in any other race. But I had DJ behind me, and I don't think Dale would ever be content with not winning a race. I go third, and we battled it out. And I came just a little bit short, but I can't be upset.
Well, you were looking good in the points situation coming into tonight. Going to continue to extend that lead. I mean, at what point do you maybe switch over to like trying to help other guys, or is it just continue to go for the wins?
Keep going for the wins unless I got teammates in front of me. DJ, I was definitely going to push, and then it was not even really a miscommunication, but trying to figure out where Mark was going to go, and it was a big chess match up there, but I was really just intending on pushing DJ. But just depends on who's in front of me. If I can help a teammate, I'm going to help a teammate. If not, I'm just going to try to go for wins. And right there, if I went up third with DJ, and then Mark dropped, so I was going to mark to drop to kind of block Mark. And then when I did that, he went third again, so I didn't have an option to go back up with DJ, so it kind of disconnected me and DJ, and I was like, crap. But no, it's fine. I'm not trying to win hog, but at the same time, if I have a chance to push a teammate, I'm going to, and me and DJ just got a little bit disconnected.
Well, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting NSRA. I want to thank all the admins, and I want to wish my dad a happy birthday and hope he had a good one. And all my teammates. Thank you to all the teammates that run in NSRA and everyone else in the league that makes all this fun possible.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Cody. Congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, Cody Nagels, your second place finisher here tonight. Again, won't be able to get an interview, unfortunately, with Dana Osborne, as we did get word from one of the admins that he does not have Discord. Nonetheless, it was an exciting race with an exciting finish, and I thank you all so much for coming out. As always, I hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next week with more NSRA Sunday Select Series action. Tomorrow night, we head over to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series for some playoff action at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Make sure you check it out. Until then,